My name is Adam Mendelson. I am the president of the Graduate Division Alumni Association, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2015 Discovery Talks. This morning, I am pleased to introduce Executive Vice Chancellor and Provost Dan Lowenstein. Dr. Lowenstein came to UCSF in 1987 as a pediatric intern and subsequently completed his residency and a research fellowship at UCSF, so we proudly claim him as one of our alumni. In January, he was named Executive Vice Chancellor and Provost. Dr. Lowenstein is a clinician scientist who has studied both basic science and clinical aspects of epilepsy and established the UCSF Epilepsy Research Laboratory. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Lowenstein.
Thanks, Adam, for the introduction. What a great event, what a great morning, what a great weekend. One of the common themes that I keep hearing is, how did UCSF get to be so great? And what is the secret sauce? And I can't think of anything that exemplifies the source of the secret sauce than what's going to happen this morning. Because it's all about creativity and discovery and our young faculty, our young trainees that are making the world a better place. So I'm going to simply introduce the Master of Ceremonies for the morning, which is Dr. Elizabeth Watkins, who's the Dean of the Graduate Division, Vice Chancellor of Student Academic Affairs, and a Professor of the History of the Health Sciences. Now, Liz came to UCSF in 2004 and has served as our Dean since 2012 and has been Vice Chancellor since the summer of 2013. She's very well known as a prolific and versatile historian of science. Her research focuses on the interactions and the interrelations between medicine, science, commerce, and culture in the United States in the 20th and the 21st centuries, including the history of prescription drugs, birth control, estrogen and female aging, testosterone and male aging, and stress and disease. She's the author of several books on these topics, including the forthcoming Therapeutic Revolutions, Pharmaceuticals and Social Change in the 20th Century. She earned her bachelor's degree in biology and her PhD in the history of science, both at Harvard. And importantly, she continues to be very active as an academician and as a teacher. She supervises PhD students who are writing dissertations on the history of health sciences at UCSF and has been a great and truly, truly great champion for graduate students and postdocs on our campus. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Watkins.
Thank you, Dan, for those lovely words. Thank you, Adam, and thank you all for being here. Discovery is the theme of what we do in the Graduate Division, and I can think of no better segue to this morning's fantastic roundtable on the history of how UCSF became a research powerhouse to these Discovery Talks about what's happening in our research community in the present. This morning's sessions are going to feature the very best of the Graduate Division and the kind of research that our faculty are doing. And so let me tell you a little bit about us. We have about 500 faculty in the basic sciences and another 100 or so faculty in the social and population sciences who work with graduate students on research topics and problems that range from the level of molecules in cells up to individuals in populations. I also want to remind you that our graduate students really are the engines that drive the research. Without the graduate students who power the labs and the research programs of our faculty really wouldn't be able to sustain the constant stream of discovery and innovation for which UCSF is world-renowned. As Chancellor Hagood mentioned this morning, I want to remind you that in September of 2013, we announced the creation of the UCSF Discovery Fellows Program, which is the largest endowment program for PhD students in the history of the University of California system. And this was made possible by the generosity of two donors, Sir Michael Moritz and his wife, Harriet Heyman. This endowment supports all of our basic science students at UCSF, and each year we select the best communicators among them to serve as Discovery Fellows. And I know that we have some of the fellows in the audience today, and can you identify yourselves by a show of hands? They'll be around afterwards during the reception. I hope you have a chance to speak with them because they are really on the cutting edge of the kind of research that's happening at UCSF. I see that we have a very full house here, and I'm interested to know how many of you, by a show of hands, are alumni of the Graduate Division and the Physical Therapy program? Terrific. How many are representing alumni from the School of Dentistry? How about the School of Medicine? School of Nursing? And the School of Pharmacy? Wonderful. Our faculty in the Graduate Division are appointed in all 4 of the professional schools. They are very interdisciplinary in the kind of work that they do, and I think you'll get a tantalizing taste of that this morning. We have 6 talks for you. These are just introductions to the work being done by these faculty and their research teams. Now, the way this will work is the speakers will make their presentations back to back to back, no questions in between. And the reason we'll do this, and I'm not going to ask you to hold your questions and comments, is to allow you to engage in direct conversation with them over a mimosa at the reception immediately afterwards. And I can see the mimosas are waiting for us in the back. But first, on with the show.